what would you say spurred on the civil war at the time?
Oh, again, because the poor got poorer. There were no opportunities for people to compete for leadership, for political office. The elites are those who benefited from economic gains. So that led, first of all, to a coup d'etat. And the coup d'etat replaced someone where the constraints in the society continue, and eventually it led to 2 decades of civil war.
Some people don't have money to go and buy a truckload of sand, so they come here and buy a bag of sand. The people want to send to do that the poor people, they want to do their little renovation because the structure that got damaged during the war. So sell it to them.
We as combatants will make our to understand that if they not pay us off, then we'll continue our own country here. We don't want to spoil it, so we'll continue to spoil it. We'll spoil it.
At that time, after the coup d'etat, and when you were running when you were running part of the elections as well, do you think that in hindsight, that your support for Charles Taylor, as you had said during the TRC, may have been wrong?
Oh yes, everyone's support for Charles Taylor had a lot of support. Perhaps he even still does. Yes, I was wrong.
Why? What makes you say that?
Well, because whatever were the motivation for his taking leadership were never achieved.
What do you think informs that? Because earlier on, for instance, we were speaking to His Excellency Obasanjo as well, and he was speaking about how he supported President Buhari and voted for President Buhari, but in hindsight, he feels that he took the wrong decision. What would you say for you is that moment that said, actually, I shouldn't have done this?
You know, the one thing we want to stay away from is trying again to politicize our society. We've had enough of that in our lifetime. Charles Taylor is gone. We should let him go in peace. Our nation wants to find new ways for unity and reconciliation, and so I don't want to get any more into that. I think I've said what I had to say on that.
Do you think you still owe the nation an apology?
No.
Why not?
I said no.
Yeah, I understand, but why do you feel that
apology
you don't owe?
For what?
For supporting a man who would later turn on his country?
That's an unwarranted assumption on your part.
So you don't believe that you owe...
Did we come to this interview to talk about Liberian politics? I thought we were talking about democracy.
We're speaking about, but this is part of the process of democracy.
You don't define what I say. We're here to talk about democracy. You want to talk Liberian politics? Come to Liberia and I'll give you full time to do it.
Sure, ma'am.
This interview has ended.
But we're also speaking about...
No.
Don't you think that this is part of democracy?
You don't hijack people this way. You know, you plan something, you want an interview to talk about Liberian politics, say so. Then we do that, and I'll give you full coverage. But if you tell me we're coming to talk about democracy at a time when I come to a conference on democracy, and all you want to talk about is Charles Taylor, please.
But the conversation then continues, ma'am. This is not the only topic that we'll be focusing on. We'll continue.
No, but at this stage, my whole state of mind is that I've been hijacked.
I apologize.
I don't like that.
I apologize that you feel that way, ma'am. Do you care to speak about the TRC?
No. The interview's ended.
It was the Americans who put pressure on President Johnson Sirleaf to request for and to break even their own assurance that they gave to us, and to request or to put pressure on the president of Liberia to request for Charles Taylor.